Hello my dear students and welcome once again to Zenith Academy Online. Today I am going to teach you endocrine glands for ICSE class 10. And in this video module we'll be talking about feedback mechanism. This is a very important part of the chapter endocrine glands and many students are mostly confused about feedback mechanism. So let me make it very easy for you so that you can score really well. Let's start. So students, we all know that living organisms are able to function flawlessly because of complex life processes that control our body functions. For example, you are able to breathe in and out automatically without realizing. Likewise, your body heats up or cools down depending on the temperature outside. You even know when you are hungry because your body signals its need for nutrition. So all these above functions occur in our body without conscious intervention from you, right? You don't even know, without you consciously knowing it, all of this is happening because of a control or regulatory system called feedback mechanism. So feedback systems control the substance that is produced by a life process. A substance in turn controls the function of the life process. So let me explain you what it is. So what is a feedback mechanism? A feedback mechanism is a physiological regulation system in a living body that works to return the body to its normal internal state, or commonly known as homeostasis. Okay, so this is a regulation system in our body and it helps our body to return to the normal state. Okay, or it maintains homeostasis. Now, what is negative feedback? But you should understand that most feedback mechanism in our body are of negative type only. Okay, most feedback mechanism in our body are of this type only. For example, blood sugar level. Let's talk about what it is. See, the body has a mechanism to maintain a normal state. Whenever there is a change in this state, there are messages through the body systems to increase if there is a fall below the normal. So whenever there is something below the normal, okay, so our body, okay, sends a message. Okay, it sends this feedback mechanism basically sends a message through the body system to increase if anything is falling below the normal. Okay, then the negative feedback system, what does it do? It tends, okay, whenever there's a change in the state, there are messages through the body systems to increase if there's a fall below the normal, or to decrease if there is a rise above the normal. Okay, so this kind of ordering for opposite is called negative feedback to restore the normal state. For example, when our blood sugar level falls down, okay, so the negative feedback system, what does it do? It sends the message to the body system to increase the blood sugar level. Okay, and whenever the blood sugar level is more, it sends a signal to decrease it. This is ordering for opposite. That is why it is called a negative feedback. See, I will explain you through this chart out here. See, this is blood sugar level. Okay, so blood sugar rises after the meals in our body. Okay, so blood sugar has risen. So what does the negative feedback do? It commands to lower the level. How it will do it? What it will do? So it will command to deposit the extra sugar in the liver. Okay, so the correction is carried out and the normal level is restored. Or now what happens? When the blood sugar level falls down during physical exercise, when you have exercised a lot or when you have fasted, so after that the sugar level falls down. So now the negative feedback system, what it wants to do? It wants to increase the blood sugar level. So now it tells the liver to release it. Okay, and the correction is carried out and the normal level is restored. I hope you have understood this very well. We have read this in our previous chapters also, where we were talking about this insulin and diabetes and all those things, right? Now let's talk about positive feedback mechanism. Now, in positive feedback mechanism, the original stimulus is promoted rather than negated. This is very important line. In the negative feedback system, what happened? When the blood sugar level was falling down, Okay, then uska ulta hua tha. The negative feedback told them to increase the blood sugar level, right? But here what happens, the original stimulus, if suppose some level is increasing, so positive feedback system, what does it do? It promotes it, the increase it promotes, so it goes on and on and on increasing. If something is decreasing, it promotes in decreasing it, right? So positive feedback increases the deviation from the ideal normal value. So it doesn't allow it to come to the normal value. It deviates it from the normal value, right? So they are very few. You should understand most of the mechanism in our body are negative feedback. Positive feedback system are very few. One example, very important example of a positive feedback is of uterine contractions during childbirth. You know how a child is born during labor. The uterus has contraction. Okay, so one after one, if there are contractions, one after the one contraction are there, then only the baby is pushed out very easily. So what happens? Normal state of uterus is uncontracted. Normally our uterus is not contracted, right? So if one contraction begins, so agar negative feedback hota, so what will happen? It will negate it. It will do opposite of it. But now it is positive feedback. So if contraction is happening, instead of commanding it to come to the normal, it gives a message it to continue contracting further, right? So it keeps on contracting further till the delivery is completed. I hope you have understood this. So one example is that of uterine contractions during childbirth. Normal state of the uterus is uncontracted. On contraction, instead of commanding to come to normal, it gives a message to continue to contract further. So positive feedback till delivery is completed. Now I will explain this general scheme of both negative and positive feedback mechanism. Watch carefully. So once the normal state is altered, changed, so sensory receptor receives this change, okay, there is a change. So suppose there is a rise in level of some substance in our body. Okay, so what does the negative feedback will do? So if there is a rise, it will command to bring it down, है ना, negative करने का. So the control center, what does it do? It commands to bring, control center commands to bring it down, correction is done and the normal state is restored. Clear? But what happens? See, now I have told you about negative feedback. Now, it's the same I am telling you about negative feedback only. Now, if there is a fall, okay, if there is a fall in something, then the negative feedback says कि okay, इसको बढ़ा देना है. So negative feedbacks goes to the control center. It commands to raise it. The correction occurs and the normal state is restored. Now in both the scenes, what happens when there is a positive? Okay. So now let me change the color. Okay. Now when the normal state is altered, the sensory receptor receives, and if there is a rise of some substance, then what does the positive feedback do? It increases it further. The positive continues. So there is an abnormality, right? Normal state is not restored. कोई चीज अगर बढ़ गया है तो पॉजिटिव फीडबैक उसको और बढ़ाती रहती है और फिर वो एबनॉर्मेलिटी में कन्वर्ट हो जाता है. एंड इफ समथिंग हैज फॉलन मतलब कम हो गया है कोई सब्सटेंस, सो पॉजिटिव फीडबैक उसको और कम करती है. द फॉल कंटिन्यूस and this is also abnormality. So you should understand now that with the negative feedback always, whether the substance is increased or decreased, with the negative feedback you see here, through here, the normal state is restored. The normal state is restored. Whereas in positive feedback you get abnormality. If there is a rise, it will continue rising. If there is a fall, it will continue falling. Right? So I hope you have understood the general scheme of both the negative and the positive feedback mechanisms. Both these diagrams are very, very important. This general scheme, okay, and this blood sugar level. Blood sugar level, I think you can do very, very well, but you should understand this as well. And very important is the example of positive feedback mechanism, uterus contractions. So I hope you have understood this concept really well. If you have enjoyed watching this video, give it a thumbs up, write in the comment section and show us your love, and do share it with your friends. Thank you and keep the learning on.